Remember back in the day when getting on the internet meant completely tying up the phone line? Yeah, that screeching, scratching sound of dial-up. For some of us, that sound literally still haunts our sleep. Well, obviously, we have come an incredibly long way since then. Chances are you're actually engaging with this explainer right now through the very invisible force that powers our entire modern world, Wi-Fi. But have you ever actually stopped to wonder how we got here? Or, what's really happening in the air around you right this second?
Okay, let's dive right into this. In this explainer, we're going to demystify Wi-Fi. We'll briefly look at its accidental history, the real truth behind its name, and the physics of radio waves. Then, we'll visualize your data, tackle a few health myths, and finally, troubleshoot exactly why your signal keeps dropping.
So, Section 1, the accidental history. Torpedoes, black holes, and tangled cables. Let's get into it. The roots of Wi-Fi don't actually start in some Silicon Valley garage. They start way back in the 1940s. Get this. Hollywood actress and inventor Hedy Lamarr actually created frequency hopping to stop Navy torpedoes from being intercepted. Wild, right? Fast forward to the 70s, and Dr. John O'Sullivan's team created these incredibly complex equations to detect black holes in space. Now, that project was actually shelved, but by the 80s, scientists were just absolutely desperate to replace all those tangled Ethernet cables everyone was constantly tripping over. So by 1997, O'Sullivan's team dusted off those old black hole equations, combined them with some data transfer math, and boom, created the 802.11 protocol. Literally, an actress's wartime invention and an astronomer's failed experiment gave us wireless internet.
Moving right along to Section 2, the truth about the name, decoding the acronym.
So they had this amazing new technology, right? The 802.11 protocol. But let's be completely honest for a second. Imagine walking into a cafe and asking the barista for the IEEE 802.11 password. Yeah, it doesn't exactly roll off the tongue. So what does the incredibly famous acronym Wi-Fi actually stand for? Is it wireless fidelity? Some highly technical abbreviation?
The answer is absolutely nothing. Seriously, it doesn't stand for anything at all. Basically, because they wanted to catch your name than 802.11, the Wi-Fi Alliance hired some market-savvy people to help them out. And they simply created a really clever pun on the word hi-fi, which is short for high fidelity, that old term used for high-quality audio gear. And just like that, Wi-Fi was born. It's a brilliant piece of marketing that completely masks all the complex numeric mumbo-jumbo behind it.
All right, Section 3, riding the radio waves, the physics in your living room.
So we know wireless internet sends and receives files, but it does all of this via radio waves, which ties right back to Hedy Lamarr and Dr. O'Sullivan. Wi-Fi uses these radio waves to transmit data back and forth between your router and your device. Now, these frequencies are measured in hertz. To put the science in kind of layman's terms here, just imagine you're sitting on a beach, watching the ocean waves crash onto the shore. If you calculate the time between each wave crashing onto the shore, you are calculating the frequency. So if one wave hits the shore exactly every single second, that equals exactly 1 hertz.
Now here is the crucial point, understanding the sheer scale of Wi-Fi. Because the frequencies your home router uses are measured in gigahertz, and 1 gigahertz equals 1 billion waves per second. Just think about that for a second. If you could actually see 1 billion ocean waves crashing onto a beach every single second, you'd probably run for the hills. But this mind-blowing speed is exactly why data gets transferred so incredibly fast to your phone.
Now, there are two main frequencies our routers use today, 2.4 and 5 gigahertz, and it's basically a trade-off. The 2.4 band travels farther, but it operates at a slower speed. The big catch here is interference. You see everyday household items like baby monitors, microwaves, garage doors, even old cordless phones. They also use the 2.4 frequency. So crazy as it sounds, when you microwave some popcorn, it can actually reduce your internet speed or even drop your connection entirely. The 5 gigahertz band, on the other hand, sends information much faster, but over a shorter distance. But because it has 23 available channels, it easily bypasses all those other household devices, giving you a much clearer, interference-free connection.
Which brings us to Section 4, visualizing your data, pixels and puzzles.
So how does all this come together when we actually send something? Let's say you want to send an embarrassing birthday photo to your best friend. How does that picture actually travel on these billions of waves? Well, step 1, the very moment you hit send, your phone breaks that photo down into binary code. You know, that computer language made up entirely of zeros and ones. Step 2, that binary code is instantly transformed into wave frequencies.
Step 3. The photo is essentially chopped up into smaller pixels or little packets of data, which travel via those radio waves to your router and eventually to your friend's router. And finally, Step 4. Once it reaches your friend's device, those tiny packets are quickly reassembled perfectly, just like a giant jigsaw puzzle, so they can see the photo and have a good laugh. And literally, all of that happens in a fraction of a second.
It's truly incredible to visualize, isn't it? If we could somehow magically see all these radio frequencies swirling around the room while we sat on the couch watching videos, what would it look like? Well, you'd see millions of little packets of data, pixels, and colorful frequencies drifting through the air from your router to your phone. It would kind of look like a long exposure photograph in slow motion. As our source beautifully puts it, it would be like a little rainbow storm right in my living room.
Okay, Section 5. Is Wi-Fi dangerous? Let's debunk some health myths. Now, naturally, visualizing a billion waves per second crashing through our living rooms brings up a very, very fair question. Is all this dangerous to our health? Well, the short answer is no. You can totally take off the aluminum foil hats. Wi-Fi works at extremely low voltages. You see, Wi-Fi, along with your TV and radio signals, emits non-ionizing radiation. And those are wavelengths that are completely harmless to the human body. They're basically just part of the everyday household smog. Contrast that with ionizing radiation, like ultraviolet rays from the sun, which actually can be harmful. In fact, it is significantly more dangerous for your body to just go outside into the sun than it is to sit right next to your Wi-Fi router. Plus, the World Health Organization has explicitly confirmed there's absolutely no scientific evidence that exposure to these low-level electromagnetic fields has any negative health effects whatsoever. And finally, Section 6. Why your signal drops. Troubleshooting the invisible.
So, if it's perfectly safe and incredibly fast, why does the signal still drop the second you walk into the kitchen? Well, Wi-Fi waves act a lot like light and sound. The further away you get from the source, the less energy you actually receive. A typical router really only throws a solid signal for about 100 feet in any direction. But your real culprits here are physical blockers. Because we're basically talking about radio energy, anything that conducts electricity will block it. That means metal surfaces, mirrors, and incredibly thick brick or concrete walls. They will literally bounce or absorb the signal. But the most surprising signal blocker? Water. And since human bodies are made mostly of water, simply standing directly between your router and your device can genuinely cause your internet connection to dip. How crazy is that?
We really have gone from the painful, screeching days of dial-up and tangled Ethernet cords to a world where we effortlessly ride billions of invisible, harmless radio waves a second. Waves that, remember, were born from torpedo research and black hole equations. We spend hours every single day relying on this invisible rainbow storm swirling around our living rooms just to work, to connect, and to live. It really makes you wonder, given how completely tethered our modern existence is to this invisible magic, if all these invisible waves were to suddenly just stop right now, what would happen to our world?